Good morning, everybody. Come on, let's get up. Sing our opening song. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on screaming. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on screaming. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on screaming. Hallelujah, hallelujah. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on screaming. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on screaming. Walking and talking with my mind stayed on screaming. Hallelujah, hallelujah,
That is so crazy. Still no sound. I don't. Uh, are you still getting reports that there is no sound?
Yeah, but it's delayed.
I see. Okay. We're going to we're going to go to plan B. We want to hear you. I want you to hear me. Reset. Restart over. Start over with sound. No. You're blank. Yeah. We got
Yeah,
audio.
they said now it's on.
Oh, now you got audio.
Yeah.
That's wonderful to know because I spent a little time getting you. I wanted to get you really good sound. So you should be having good sound right now. You know what? I still feel like starting over, but don't go anywhere. Watch this. Okay, I'm going to put thumbs up on starting over. There it is. We're going to go to Sherry.
Good morning, everybody. Come on, let's get up. Sing our opening song. I woke up this morning with my mind stayed on screaming. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on screaming. Woke up this morning with my mind stayed on screaming.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Got me doing the jerk too, T. Michael Rambo. Okay, so I hear that you hear. Excellent. That's wonderful. And, what I was saying when you couldn't hear me was that they tell us in school that one of the things we should do is be careful of what our talk title will be because we will live that talk title. And my talk title is Day One, A Clean Slate. 3 times now, we've had day one clean slate, had to wipe the slate clean and start over, then wipe the slate clean and start over. And you know what you do and what spiritual treatment does for you is it just says, everything's okay. There is a power within that knows exactly how everything should unfold, and now it is unfolding perfectly. So I'm glad you can hear. I'm glad you can see. We got to hear Sherry sing the song 2 times. Absolutely wonderful. And when this all happened, Reverend Johanna jumped into prayer, boom, right away, and blessed the entire situation. So here we are, sending love and sharing. So much going on this week. Who was watching last night? The World Health Organization concert was. What time was that, Reverend Johanna? 5 to 7. 5 to 7. It was amazing. I can't even go back to YouTube later and talk about that and look at it. Oh, speaking of YouTube, we're looking at a program that will allow us to simultaneously stream to YouTube and to Facebook. Be standing by for that. In the next week or two, we should be able to figure out how to stream live to YouTube and to Facebook, and that'll help out a lot of folks who don't have. There are actually some people who are not on Facebook. There are, and we love them, and we want to make sure that we are able to connect with those people as well. This is the week of the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. Earth Day brought back the 3 R's in a whole new way. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Debbie Barecki, our in-house environmentalist, is reminding us that it is a great time to continue to remember to reduce, reuse, and recycle. Those are still in play as we talk about Earth Day. Big shout out to John and Sherry, the newlyweds in the house. Congratulations on your service. Mark, thank you for putting that together for them. Mark Bacharach, our in-house cantor. Yes, we are the only center for spiritual living in the entire nation that has its own cantor. I'm willing to bet that, maybe even in the world. And we're so grateful to have you, and so grateful to have you guys as our musical newlyweds, I guess is the best way to put it. A little service reminder. We found out recently we use some pre-recorded videos within our service, and sometimes Facebook will flag those pre-recorded videos and bounce off the broadcast. If that happens, we will bring it back right away as we just did. It doesn't take but a couple of seconds for us to reset. So don't go anywhere if for some reason it just goes blank in the middle of a music video, because copyright is important. And while we have the permission of the artist to know that, there's not a human being watching our series, our live stream. It's an algorithm watching it. And if it hears the copyrighted music, the algorithm may go click and kick us off. But don't worry about it. We'll come right back right away. And that's another reason why we're looking to go to YouTube Live, because that doesn't happen on YouTube Live. So, special guest today, Sue Rubin is going to join me for the talk later today. We're going to have a special visit from one of our newest grandmothers. Tina Meeks is our featured musical artist today. Our announcements telling you, bringing you what we do will be John Bellis. Reverend Maggie is our practitioner for the day. But before we get into what we do in terms of announcements, something new about what we do, and that is what Reverend Johanna is standing by with, bringing your voice into the room. Let's go to Reverend Johanna.
Good morning, everybody. It's so lovely to see you here again, and it's always so nice to see all the comments on Facebook. We're doing it a little different today. You know, what I've done over the last month is that I gave a shout out to everybody who was on Facebook, that I could see was on Facebook. But there are many people in our community who I either don't see on Facebook, or I know that they're not on Facebook. And so this time becomes a time of sending blessings. We all have the power to send blessings. And it's so crucial, and it works. So let's send blessings to the community members we might not have seen for a while. Okay, send them loads of love. So I'm going to read out some names. Sana Gray, Gloria Binder, Joe Brindley, Flo, Joan Duskin, Bill Tilden, Jean Flath, Ola Horn, Rosita Merrick, John Sheely, Robin Galvez, Joe LaSalle, Carol Asari, Becky Jacobson, Ginger, Jerry and Fred, Skip Bellier, Dee and Gary Malore, Linda Moore. What I also saw, which is really nice when we share on Facebook and we share it on our own page, that people that I've known from years ago are now joining our service. So I just want to give a hearty welcome to Kashalia Meadows and Aaron. It's so nice to see you here. And from here we go straight to John Bellis.
Good morning and welcome to our Facebook Live Virch Like Church Worship Celebration. So glad you are joining us this morning. I'm John Bellis and here's what we do. Most importantly, we connect by bringing you this service live via Facebook each week. Help our community continue to teach our principles by reaching out to family and friends. We welcome and invite you to share this service on your page or in others. No one need feel isolated or alone at this time. Let's stay together while apart. Later today, this service will be uploaded to our YouTube channel, CSL Simi Valley, and on the home page at our website, cslsimi.org. For those of you with children, check out our youth and family director, Dr. Susan Holton, for Play and Learn with Dr. Susan. Play and Learn with Dr. Susan lessons are also posted during the week to our YouTube channel, CSL Simi Valley. You can also watch Dr. Susan live streaming on Sunday mornings at 9:30 a.m. through the CSL Simi website. This week's Wednesday night experience features Reverend Patrick Harbula and his wife and fellow traveler, Karina. They'll be sharing insights and images from their recent trip to Kenya and the CSL New Thought Conference hosted by the local Kenyan Center for Spiritual Living. That's Wednesday, April 22 at 7 p.m. It's all happening on Zoom. Keep watch on your email. The link to the service will be sent with our weekly e-blast. Catch Reverend Stephen Monday through Saturday on Facebook Live for Practicing Oneness at 1. He streams moments of reflection, inspiration, and support during these challenging times from his Facebook page. Be part of our virtual Sunday Virch service. Record a video short of yourself greeting the community. Videos should be no longer than 30 seconds. Here's a tip from Reverend Stephen. Turn your smartphone camera to landscape before you shoot. Email your clip to Reverend Stephen at revstephen@cslsimi.org. Be creative, have fun. Look for your video short at the close of service. And for a limited time, anyone who submits a video short will receive a free copy of the May issue of Science of Mind magazine. I want to take a moment to stress the importance of continuing to support our center financially during this period. Make sure to maintain your regular giving, and to our new friends, we welcome your donations at this time. Go to our website, cslsimi.org, click on the donate button, give what you can. Every gift counts toward our creating a world that works for everyone. Also beginning this week, for those of you who prefer to connect with a live voice when making your donation, you can call the church office for up to 1 hour following the service. Dr. Susan will be there to take your donations by phone. The number is 805-527-0870. Thank you in advance for your contribution. Remember, our center staff, practitioners, and ministers are providing emotional and spiritual support to help us move through these challenging times. Reach out to them for prayer or any questions you have by email or calling the church office. And now, welcome to all of you viewing from wherever you are. We're so grateful that you have chosen to spend this time with us this morning. Back to you, Reverend Stephen.
Thank you, John Bellis. Thank you for bringing the music, and thank you for bringing the announcements today. And all that you heard, we did what we were talking about around the Earth Day, how we bring the service to you, the various activities we have going on during the week, the greetings that we share, the voice in the room with Reverend Johanna. All of that is a part of how we bring our vision and our mission statement to life. And I don't want us to miss that opportunity to reinforce that, because it's an important part of reminding us who we are, why we're here, and what we do. So let's do that together right now. Here it is. We're a community, inclusive, loving, and authentic. We celebrate all paths to God in gratitude, empowering self and others. We serve compassionately through outreach, inspiration, and education. And for those of you that are here for the pre-service prayer, there's something that we do in that pre-service prayer. Let me get on a wider shot so I can do it here. There you go. Who's your source? God. Nice. All right, finding ways to have fun. Let's see. Executive producer Reverend Johanna, where am I going now? What's up next? What do we do now? Where am I? You could just talk. You could just tell me, like, off camera. Oh, I know. She's like, what am I doing? You're on, but you don't have to talk if you don't want to. Okay, so where we're going to go next is our practitioner of the day. This is where we do the affirmation, the reading, and the treatment to ground ourselves in spiritual truth and to set the stage for the talk that's later to come. And today's affirmation and treatment and reading will come from one of our longtime ministers, dynamic practitioner, and that is Reverend Maggie Erpen.
Good morning. Welcome. I miss you all, and I'm sending you all big hugs. I'm going to read the affirmation, and then I'll ask you to read it with me. Today, I pen the unwritten chapter of my life, starting with the slate wiped clean. I am the author of my beautiful life. Now let's say it together. Today, I pen the unwritten chapter of my life, starting with the slate wiped clean. I am the author of my beautiful life. The reading today is by Stephen Atchison. It's entitled, Why Does Writing It Down Help Change Your Life? A good question, and the simple answer for me is, I don't know, it just does. That might sound like a cop-out, but it's true. I can only guess at the explanation. I believe that writing something down gets it into the open. And by the open, I mean the ethereal open. Thoughts are energy and are very powerful. And once you have put them down on paper, these thoughts move into the world and start to manifest for you. In her book, Write It Down, Make It Happen, Harriet Klauser explains that by writing down our outcomes, we are activating something called the reticular activating system. This is like a filter for our brain, feeding us information about important things happening around us. It helps form our perception of a situation, or it leads us in a certain direction. Writing our outcomes down has the same effect, apparently. Our brain will filter out clues to help manifest these outcomes for you. You will start to see more opportunities, meet more people who can help. Lots of different things will happen. Get to work and change your life. Try it. Write down the yet unwritten chapter in your life. Make it what you truly want in detail. I could suggest keeping a diary. Write in it every day. Write down all of the things that are going on in your life, and then positive affirmations about what you already feel and see for yourself. You are the only author of your life. So write it down and make it happen. Take a deep breath. So let us pray. One God, one divine intelligence, in and through this universe, in and through everyone and everything, everywhere. Right here and now, we know we're protected and guided. We move into the truth with a capital T, knowing God is all there is everywhere. In and through what's going on today, knowing that we step into the humanity, knowing that we are all in this together, that we see an end, that we see peace, that we see love spreading out throughout the world. We write our own life story. We let go of the old and we step into the new with confidence and joy. This is the only truth that is. With gratitude for this center, gratitude for everyone and everything that comes into our life that gives us the opportunity to grow and evolve. We are so blessed and grateful. I release these words into the law of mind, knowing that as they're said, they're done. And together we say, and so it is.
And so it is. Ah, she really laid down some serious spiritual practice. Dr. Sue will do the same when we do the talk a little bit later, because at this time, it's so important to do that. And I also just really are feeling the love. I can feel it. The distance is not there. We may be on our own separate locations, but we are truly one, particularly when we have our Sunday morning virtual. Let's go back to your voice in the room with Reverend Johanna and see what's going on.
Yeah, thank you, Reverend Maggie, for that beautiful prayer. And thank you, everybody, for sending her so much love. Again, it's so neat to see the comments. Lots of love flowed through to Reverend Maggie, also through Reverend Maggie, that's for sure. Lots of love flowed to John Ballas. Thank you so much for your service. What I also wanted to say is, you know, earlier I shouted out some names of people who are probably not on Facebook. And if you know of people that you say, you know, I haven't seen that person or haven't seen their name in the Facebook feed, just post it. I will take note of it and give a shout out later. In the meantime, all the love that we're feeling right now, the powerful prayer of Reverend Maggie, let's transform it and send blessings again. Just take a deep breath. And now we send blessings to all the healthcare workers, to the sanitation workers, to people who work in the grocery stores, to people who work in nursing home facilities, to the public workers like gas and electric, street repairs, postal workers, people who deliver our food when we order online, people who deliver our packages, blessings to restaurants, and to banks, for the banks that are still open. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Reverend Johanna. Really smart stuff. All the people that are bringing services so that life can be somewhat normal while we are developing what will be a different normal. I don't want to call it a new normal because normal is new at every single moment. That's the wonderful thing about living in an infinite universe with limitless possibilities. We get to experience a normal that changes by minute. Process theology talks a lot about that. We won't get into that. That's a long class, not a lesson for a Sunday morning. But spiritual practice is super, super important. One of the spiritual practices that we do here is we do the gap meditation. That is going into the silence, to the God awareness place. And Reverend Maggie is going to lead us into the gap today.
Now it's time for the gap, the God awareness place. All you need to do is breathe. It's an impossibility not to have any thoughts. But concentrate on one thing, like a stream in front of you, or look out the window at trees, birds flying around. It's 3 minutes. Just quiet your mind and allow yourself to go within to that wonderful, phenomenal space within you. I'll keep the time. Start now. Take a deep breath. Now that was just 3 minutes. You can do this every day. Just take a deep breath. Or even just concentrate on something other than your thoughts that are going on. Look outside. Look at the trees, the birds moving around. Go for a walk, of course, with your mask and distancing. And just look around you and appreciate everything that God has given us. You can do this every day, and it'll help you with any anxiety, any frustration. It's a good practice to get into. Know that I love you, and namaste.
And we all love you too as well, Reverend Maggie. Thank you so much for that. It's so sweet to go into the gap, the God awareness place, to let the mind become still, to think of the ripples in a pond with the water disrupting it. We can settle our mind as we imagine the clear water becoming still. Can you remain still and unmoving while the mud settles and the water's clear? Can you sit while right action arises by itself? And one of the ways to do that is when we develop that clean slate. We're going to talk about that in just a minute. But first, I want to bring you, and in a clarification, in the beginning of the service, it might have sounded like I was saying that Tina Meeks is a grandmother. I don't think so. Tina, no, not. But we do have a new grandmother in the congregation, and she's got a special message for you later on in the service. So that's a special guest. I'm just kind of teasing. You won't know who it is, but you'll enjoy it when you see it. But right now, I hope you will enjoy this beautiful music that Tina Meeks has prepared for us, and we'll get that going right now. Let me cue her up, and Tina Meeks is our special guest artist for today, and here she is.
Hello, Reverend Steve and the CSL family in Simi Valley. I miss you all, and I hope that you know that this is a wonderful time for regrowth and development at home. I hope you're safe. I hope you're well. I miss you, but this too shall pass.
This too shall pass. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. This moment too shall pass. The dark clouds never last. Soon as the storm is past, you'll see a brighter day. My mama used to pray. She'd get down on her knees every day. And though the tempest may rage, she said, trouble don't last always. This moment too shall pass. Yeah, yeah. The dark clouds never last. Soon as the storm is past, you're gonna see a brighter day. This too shall pass. I was tossed and I was torn. This too shall pass. I was crossed and I was scorned. This too shall pass. Somebody reached out his hand and he helped me to believe again. This moment too shall pass. Yeah. Oh, those dark clouds, they never last. Soon as the storm passes, when trials come your way and your blue skies have changed to gray. The winds of doubt are strong and your hope is gone. Remember Mama's prayer. She knew God was everywhere, and no matter what comes your way, your troubles don't come to stay. This too shall pass. Hold on. This too shall pass. Wait for the dark clouds, baby. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. All you gotta do is hold on. This too shall pass. Soon as the storm is past, this too shall pass. You're gonna see a brighter day. This too shall pass. Hold on to faith. This too shall pass. You gotta hold on, yes you do. This too shall pass. You know it's gonna pass. This too shall pass.
That was beautiful. This too shall pass. And, no, very few times in our lives has it been a collective this too shall pass moment. We certainly know that. And before this even became a problem for us, I'd already set the title for this day, A Clean Slate. We had tried to get together with Dr. Sue Rubin. We were going to do a tag team on the platform. And then that weekend, I got sick. I had to take care of myself, stayed at home, and Dr. Sue went solo that day. And then we promised that we would come back together, so we set it for today. And then last week we were talking and said, we can still do it today. We can still do our talk today. So we're doing our talk today by the virtue of Zoom. So today's talk, A Clean Slate. And now I bring you my partner, my friend, my colleague, my mentor, the amazing Dr. Sue Rubin.
So grateful to have with us today Dr. Sue Rubin. We promised you that we would be together. The first time that didn't work. The second time, the world said, go home. But we figured out how to come together anyway through the fantastic technology of today. So welcome, Dr. Sue.
Thank you. And I figured, listen, extraordinary people really deserve extraordinary circumstances in which to come together and share. So this is it.
Feeling that. So today's topic of the talk is day one, a clean slate. Now, I have a friend of mine who every day he starts his day and he says, this is day one. And he reminds him to start each day with a fresh canvas. And it's so easy to wake up in the morning. I ran across this idea some time ago, and it just landed on me. It says we wake up in the morning, we reach over to the end table, and we pick up all of yesterday and put it back in our pocket. We put our jewelry, our wallet, the things that we need for the day, for sure. But all those things are carrying the artifacts and the story of our past. So today I'm hoping with your wisdom and your insights that we can help people or bring tools to help us create a clean slate, particularly at this time when there's so much going on.
Yes,
right?
I agree. And that's why I've always been such an insister upon when you get up in the morning, meditate first thing before you reach for all the stuff that is symbolic of already history happened yesterday, and to just meditate, to be the determination in your own world that this is the way I start my day. I'm centered, I'm grounded, and far more equipped at that point to handle all of the craziness that's amplified these days.
It does seem that way too. And the other thing that seems to happen for me, at least what comes to me around that, is that when I begin my day with all the past, I don't have the ink pen in my hand and I'm not writing my day. And one of the things I love about the science of mind teaching is it reminds us, doesn't tell me how to think or what to think, but it teaches me how to think, and it teaches me and lets me realize that I can write my day. I am in control of that part of the activity of life.
Yes, and I feel that so many people still don't grasp that invisible, that inaudible something that says it's behind the scene, this mind that I have power to access and to more fully develop as my identity, is that which I am, so that I am equipped not only to face my own world in a calm and creative way, but to be able to offer everybody I encounter that day in a way that says, be still, and simply know, come on, relax, we'll get through this.
I really like that you just talked about be still, to be still. One of the This was an anonymous quote. I love the philosopher Anonymous. He's just, or she is just amazing, has so much information. And one of the things Anonymous said is that it is not the events in our lives that bring change, but the space between events.
Hmm. You know, that's very symbolic also, and really matches the gap between the thought or the stimulus to respond, that space in between the occasion and the reaction to it. That,
Mm-hmm.
you know, there's such messages that remain eternal, and yet we tend to skip them by because we still want the easier fix. Well, tell me now, what's thousands of years of philosophy and truth got to do with it? Tell me now. It's in that pause. It is, everything requires, remember that soda, the pause that refreshes that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So maybe we need to take 6 minutes, pause, and then go on the seventh, whatever.
Absolutely. That's why we have that practice. That's why we do it weekly at the service. We actually, and we call it that, the gap, because that's the God awareness place.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just trapped in all the messages and all the stories. We love our stories. Don't take my story away. But if you don't take my story away, how am I going to wipe the slate clean so I can write a new story when there's already a bunch of writing on the page, right?
Yes, exactly. That's why Jean Houston, wonderful futurist and philosopher, psychologist, she used to say, tell a bigger story. Tell the one that personifies your identity as being divine, not the other way around. Remember the old, I'm human, having an occasional spiritual experience. No, you are that universalis Dios. You are the God
Right.
of the universe. Specialize, be it.
This
Talk
is this is a spiritual experience, right? I mean,
Yes.
if there's only the one, then everything that we're
Yes.
doing is an expression of that spiritual experience.
Exactly.
We can own that, then we can live in what Dr. Holmes talks about so brilliantly. We can live in that infinite, unfounded, limitless potential and bring that potential into life.
Yes.
What are some of the tools that you use to grasp that potential and turn it from formless into form?
Well, I've always felt, and now more than ever, that a disciplined structure is really the start of really utilizing your spiritual practices. So ever since, my God, the mid 70s, when I was initiated into TM, meditation has been my go-to. And as I mentioned before, first thing in the morning. So my practices would include the meditation, very much woven in between with some silence and then treatment. To me, spiritual mind treatment is the most underutilized tool on the planet. And so I'll do that. And I mean, I could stay just doing my practices, writing, journaling, you know, just reading. I have some very ancient, old science of mind writers that I read from, as well as other books I've picked up that have nothing to do with metaphysics, old traditional prayer books. But I know my nourishment comes from feeding that part of me, that soul that is hungry and thirsty, particularly now, and remaining in a quote unquote heavenly state of mind, but with my feet planted firmly on the ground, facing what I need to today.
I love that you talked about books and old books and different kinds of books. I know that there's, particularly when we're new, or when I was new to science of mind, I was really touched with how Dr. Holmes gave such clarity to the spiritual journey, and also freedom to be released from the dogmatic teachings that may have made me run from a more traditional or fundamental journey, right? But as I've gotten deeper into it,
Yes.
I find that holding on to, I mean, I have this wonderful National Geographic of Mary that I've been reading through, and just to, to experience
Beautiful.
the depth
Mhm.
that's available from so many different writers. Here's I'm reading from Thomas Merton now. More.
Oh, I'm reading currently. I have a book of his meditations that he
Yes.
put together for
Right.
every day, also a daily reading. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
And to see his diversity, which is the same diversity we all have, he'll be, as far as my interpretation, spot on with the unity of the one with the divine one. And then he'll go off into his more traditional Christianity, which is fine. But that's what I love, because it all comes back to the same: be still and know there is something within us all
Yeah.
that makes the whole change in our life and life all around us.
Yeah, yeah. And I think also it's what's important is also to look at those things with fresh eyes.
Yes.
To open ourselves up to a wider view of it. I love the comic, and you were telling me you know about him, the comic Stephen Wright,
Yes.
and talking about looking at things with a fresh eyes. He's got
Yes.
this quote. He says, "I went to a restaurant that serves breakfast at any time,
Mhm.
so I ordered French toast during the Renaissance."
We need the music now. Da 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 da.
Ching! Right, little snare drum, right, a rim shot thing. Yeah, but that's it. Can we switch the script a little bit and see the wider story, particularly for people who have been moving away from a faith system that they didn't think served them? Maybe as we look at it with a new lens, with a clean slate, so to speak, it can serve us in a whole new way.
Yes. Yeah, because the bottom line is every part. I always like what Thomas Trord had to say, and I'm paraphrasing, that everything we've ever done is a composite and a cumulative representation of what now is possible. But you don't stop there. You have to take and extract the richness of it, leave the rest of it behind, like the keys and the money, and just take that into a greater possibility, which we're talking about: a new slate, a possible human. Again, a term that Jean used to mention when she said, tell your true story, the story of your divinity. Write it fresh, clean slate.
The other thing that comes to me now is it's stepping into it with a fresh acceptance of our creativity, because sometimes the stories that we are told, that we buy into, also well, they start with a beginning, there's a middle, and there's an end, and so they're capped, right? There's no expansion within that. And as Dr. King says, we must use time creatively. What are some of the creative uses that you've come across who have been successful for breaking the cap that holds a story together, from dissolving the story so a new story can be written?
Right. What I have found, and I'll relate it to what's happening recently. You and I, when we met recently, were talking about writing, putting something together of all of the accumulations of all we've done. And up to this point, it's been like, yeah, well, I mean, I'm writing, so whatever, it's out there someplace. But when I started 30 days ago, on March 13th, I started doing a Pray It Forward 30-day campaign on Facebook relating to the commentary of what's going on. And today will be day 37. I haven't stopped. And I came to the realization, there's my discipline. Wherever that goes from here, I have broken that resistance to sitting down and just doing what is mine to do. For everyone, it will be something different, whether it's related to your home or your family, but it's breaking the cycle of procrastination and delay of the things that we know would contribute to making things better, not for ourselves alone, but for everyone. So resistance is a big factor in not allowing ourselves to take the action that really stimulates that ongoing expanded creative flow. So for me, it's writing. For you, it's whatever it is, and for everyone else, but it's like asking the bigger questions, like what is it within myself that I am to give way to rather than pushing it away? Let it have it its way with me. What would that look like? We know it.
You
We've just
tossed out you tossed out a powerful word when you were talking about that, and it worked, and that was discipline. My friend that says that discipline is equals freedom.
Yes.
And
Yes.
because you set down the discipline of doing it for 30 days, you're now at day 37.
Yes.
You
Yes.
know, that reminds me of what you were telling me about what Bob Lucken said recently.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Let me tell you, this is a great little quote. And it says, what condition do you want to be in when you're not in the condition you're in?
Right.
You know, we're very good at saying, well, I see myself, I project myself into a future of peace and restored health and safety and love and prosperity. And yet we know in principle, you are not free of a situation until you're free in it.
Mm. Oh, you got to say that one again.
Yes.
Run that down again. You are not
free of a situation until you're free in it. Today, we will not be free of what happens, regardless of what that C thing is doing, until we can say, I accept my life the way it is. And in that, I am free. Goes back to all of the people who have been incarcerated, or the logotherapy guy who was in the concentration camp. Oh, goodness. Anyway.
Victor
Yes,
Frankl.
thank you. Victor Frankl.
Right.
He said, you can take anything away from me, but you can't take my capacity to be free in the situation I am, ludicrous as it may seem.
Right. That's like the great Wayshower says, right? Resist not evil.
Yes.
And when we're or young, right? What you resist persists. And so if we hold on to that's staying in the flow.
Yeah. And so it's always like entertaining the paradox. How can I be beginning with the end in mind of the start of a new creative endeavor or a new me, while still allowing myself to be the moments I'm sad and frustrated and anxious and all the things we're all experienced to one degree or another.
Right.
So that's it. I'm free of the situation because I'm free in it.
And that's the central crux of starting right where you are.
Exactly.
You know, we want to get there. We're so in a hurry to get there, but we forget that the sacred ground is right here under our very feet. X marks the spot, right where you're standing. That's where it all begins, right?
That's where it begins. So in all the modalities that are available, the beautiful science of mind and the ancient teachings and all the holidays we've just come through, all of them point to redemption, to renewal, to freedom. And that's not attainable up in the outer.
And they begin with release, letting go, death, crucifixion.
Yes.
Which also includes some of the other things you mentioned about before, the pain, the suffering, we're so ready to go, it's all good.
Right.
And yes, it is. But also all those other emotions that we put on the other end of the spectrum are equally as good and powerful in our advancement.
Exactly. And again, I'm going to make a pitch for spiritual mind treatment. Some people just feel that, well, yes, I do it mostly when things are not looking so hot, but then I forget. But it's such a common available tool. Any place you are when you feel yourself like tilting off center, it's like silently affirming, God is, I am. There's something about that that's just like the cold water in your face that reminds me of, come on, you're more than that. everyone's talking about, when all of this is said and done, we will be better people because we will have had enough of the experience of this to not make it a passing fancy, but to make it a thing that I must model for the rest of my life, now and always. So,
Well, that's such a capper. I can't ask anything more except maybe that you give us one of those treatments to know the truth that you just spoke for everyone that's watching us right now. Would you
my
be willing to do
pleasure.
that? Okay.
And my love and blessings to everyone in Sini and beyond. So I do speak in the first person, the I am, which identifies the nature of God, which each one is. These are our own words, each one, the truth about ourselves. We speak for ourselves. And so I know that in the midst of every circumstantial piece of evidence pointing to a suppositional opposite, I remain grounded, unshakable, unwavering in my clear inner knowing that God is, I am. There is one power, one life, one source, one substance, and one supply. And it is forever the action that is taking place by means of myself and all. Therefore, I choose to live in the continual acceptance, always, no matter what. I live in the continual acceptance that life is good. My whole experience is of God. My whole life is God in action, for I eternally am one with all life and all power. And so I go forward with grace and ease, knowing I am governed, I am guarded, I am impassioned and inspired truly by the one source that is perfect God, perfect essence, perfect life, perfect being, all of which I now submit unto the creative law of mind, knowing it is all produced as good and very good for the benefit and blessing of all. And so it is.
And so it is. It is so powerful to spend time with you, Reverend Sue, Dr. Sue. And I look forward
Pleasure
to our
indeed.
getting back together so we can sit at Starbucks and chat about life.
There you go. God
Okay.
bless.
God
Goodbye,
bless.
everyone.
A clean slate. Day one. Are you ready for your day one? Our affirmation speaks to that. I share it with you now. Today, I pen the unwritten chapter of my life, starting with a slate wiped clean. I am the author of my beautiful life. I am, you are, we are the authors of our beautiful lives. Sage wisdom from a sage, from a true mystic among our walking amongst us, Dr. Sue Rubin. So grateful for her and the way she loved CSL See Me. After that was over, we were closing up, and she said, anytime you want me to come out and share time with you guys, I am there because I love your family. And you can see why we love her back. Let's go back over to the Your Voice in the Room cam because Reverend Johanna has some things she wants to share with us. Reverend Johanna?
Yeah, Reverend Stephen, everybody who's on Facebook, it seems like everybody who is on Facebook so appreciates the dialogue between you and Dr. Sue and found Dr. Sue so inspirational as she always is. People posted their practices, what they're doing during the day, which is inspiring other people. And as Dr. Sue said, spiritual mind treatment is so important. So what we're going to do right now, I'm going to call out another list of people, names that we want to bless, and we'll take it into the spiritual mind treatment that Reverend Stephen will be doing. So hold in your heart those who are sick, those who are anxious, those who have passed on, those who are grieving loved ones, those who are wondering where the next meal will come from, those who are experiencing disharmony in the home, and those who are wondering how to pay their bills.
Join me now as we go into prayer. For this is what I know. There's one life. That life is God. That life is my life. That life is your life. That life is the life of all that are listening to this cast right now, that are feeling the emanations and the waves of love that are flowing from our community. There's something special taking place in the world today. We're seeing a new kind of coming together that has been brought to us by being called to be a part. But the humankind is recognizing its oneness right now and refuses to be a part. So in that full consciousness, I'm understanding that there is a love impulse moving through all that is taking place, and all the people that Reverend Johanna just spoke of, all of you out there that are holding your own individual prayer request. In this moment, Spirit is listening, not because Spirit doesn't always listen, but because we have now in this moment, I have now in this moment chosen to place my consciousness on the understanding that there is a power and a presence that is listening, that is doing the work of self-givingness, making of itself from its infinite formlessness form that shows up as harmony and peace and joy and prosperity, food at the doorstep, medical support, friends that call, that check in, unique ideas, Zoom dinners, Zoom weddings, ways of meeting with neighbor and friend, and turning what was not friend into friend, dropping judgment and opening into the equanimity of life. We stand in the opportunity for presence, for as our dear friend D tells us, for love to prevail. Be that healing balm on the planet this day. As we move toward another anniversary of Earth Day, as we move toward another day to wipe the slate clean and to start fresh and anew, as we rise from our crucifixion moments into the resurrection of our greatest yet to be, knowing that it is waiting for our divine acceptance, we accept it now. So I'm calling forth healing. I'm calling forth prosperity. I'm calling forth good. I'm calling forth wealth and health, knowing that we are all uplifted and supported by this word. I'm so grateful to speak it on behalf of each and every one of you and to release this word into an infinite law that knows only to do, only to say yes, and it's saying yes right now. Join me collectively in a round the world closing statement of 4 great powerful words. And so it is. Oh my goodness. There's something so beautiful about prayer. Thank you, Reverend Johanna, for bringing those prayer treatments into the room as well. And there's just so much wonderful things taking place. And I promised you a little earlier a surprise visit from a relatively new grandma. And here she is right now. I bring you our treasurer, Lane Taylor.
Good morning. This is Lane Taylor with your Treasurer's Report update. But first, I have a confession to make. I have to admit that there are aspects of this virtual church that I'm kind of enjoying. Being able to watch the service and my jammies, my coffee and my breakfast and my family all around me. It's not all bad. But the thing I also like about it is knowing how many more people we're able to include in our community as a result of our virtual church. It's been 6 weeks since we were all in the sanctuary together. It's hard to imagine, I know. But in that time, we've continued to increase our viewership. And last week's Easter service, we had over 300 views. That's 3 times as many people as we would have had seats in the sanctuary. So that's a good thing. And I know that some of those people are those that are in their homes feeling lonely or fearful or isolated. Though it's a great service that we're doing. Our board met this week, and although you're not in the church to see the reports, I will be sending the financial reports out to you via email so you can see this in more detail. But as a brief summary, as you can imagine, our giving is down based on our reduced in-person attendance. We ended up with a deficit in March of $3,000 and a deficit year-to-date of $5,000. What that means is that we've been able to cover all of our expenses except our rent. So I ask you to continue to support the center as best as you're able to. Now I know that a lot of you that would be sitting in your seats instead of sitting at home with your coffee. When the basket goes by, you throw something in. So please, as you're enjoying our virtual church service, don't forget about our virtual basket. We have lots of ways to give online via PayPal. The easiest way is to set up a bill pay from your own bank account. That also saves us fees. And I know that not everyone is able at this time to do that. Please know that even the smallest amount helps. And if you're not able to give anything at all, please join me and give by supporting us in visualizing a thriving, abundant, amazing center, a home that's still being prepared for us for the time that we return. Knowing that when we return, not only will we be back with our community, but we will be bringing with us all of those who have become part of our virtual community from all over the world. So thank you for holding that vision with me. I'll see you soon. Thank you again for your support. Can I get some more coffee?
Somebody give that woman some more coffee. Thank you, Lane. Really, that's a very comprehensive report, and I certainly appreciate you doing the service and the entire board. We had a great meeting this week, and as Lane said, she will be sending out a report from the board to all of our members so you can keep up with what's going on. This is our time when we do our pledge, our giving pledge. We do appreciate your gifts, but more than anything, we appreciate the opportunity to affirm our prosperity and our good flowing into our lives. That's what we do with this prayer that was inspired by Reverend Johanna's prayer class when they studied the workings of Catherine Ponder, the teachings of Catherine Ponder. So if it sounds familiar about divine love, that's the Catherine Ponder's term for that universal presence that is desiring to give us the good. Here it is now. Join me. Divine love, it's doing its perfect work here and now. Divine love harmonizes. Divine love adjusts. Divine love prospers. Divine love foresees everything and richly provides every good thing for CSL Simi Valley now. Divine love is victorious. So that's our giving donation, cslsimi.org/donate. Also a reminder that after service, Dr. Susan, not Dr. Sue, but Dr. Susan Holton will be standing by in the church office to receive your donations live if you would like to do a credit card and have her process it for you today. That is at 805-527-0870. And to bless the giving, because we know that there is no time or space when things are not happening, I bring you now Reverend Maggie.
Oh, I want to thank you all for your donations, to keep the center open, to keep the lights going when we get back, knowing that everything is supported completely. Thank you so, so much. So if I right here and right now, I look at these wonderful, wonderful donations you have given, and I know that our center is whole and complete and supported. We let go of everything and anything that has held us down. We now soar because we are all one. We see that everywhere. We are connected. I'm so grateful for everyone here. I'm so grateful for everything that we have. And I release these words into the mind, knowing how blessed we are, how grateful we are for everything that comes to us. And together we say, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Reverend Maggie. We're going to bring back Tina Meeks. She's got another video for us, and this is a special video because it features her kids and her friend had put this together, so it's really lovely. Here you go now with one more sound from Tina Meeks.
Gotta make it if
That was super, super sweet. Thanks, Phoebe and Perry and Leon for helping put that together with Tina. And special shout out to Leon, who worked extra hard to put these really sweet videos together for us so that Tina could bring us something really special this week. And that's what we're all trying to do here, to give you the highest level and the best possible service that we can, despite the fact that we're all somewhat apart. And I'm hoping that you're enjoying what we're doing. It seems like you are. I'm certainly enjoying bringing it to you, and it's just such a treat to do so. What other things coming up? Oh, yes, I do want to remind you that as Reverend Sue talked about, as Johanna talked about as well, as I did in the end of service, we truly believe that the power of treatment is paramount, and it does things for our lives that sometimes our everyday consciousness cannot do. If you are struggling in any way during this moment, or you just want to share your gratitude for how life is going and what you have that you're grateful for, reach out to one of our practitioners. You can do that at our website, cslcme.org/prayer-request, cslcme.org/prayer-request, and that way you can give your prayer request out to anyone, to one of our practitioners, and they will contact you throughout the week and let you know what's going on. And they will pray for you as well. We'll put it in our, what we call our ecclesiastical core, in our prayer list, and then we will pray for you every single day of the week. All right, so I want to remind you about that. Also, to remind you that I am still doing my practicing the presence at 1. That's Monday through Saturday on Facebook, Practicing the Presence at 1. Please come and join me for that. We have done it again, my dear friends. We have spent an hour and some minutes, 70 minutes, 75 minutes is what our service tends to run, and that's what we're bringing to you here through this medium. We will look at bringing it to you simultaneously, live casting through Facebook Live and YouTube. We'll stand by for updates around that. This week, you've got Reverend Patrick with his trip from Kenya. He'll be talking about that. And now I want to invite Reverend Johanna to come over with me. We're going to do the closing benediction. So if you just come right up on here on the screen, I'm going to put it up on the screen for us. There you are.
I look there.
Yeah, they're right up there. They're right up there. It's so sweet. Okay, here, I'm going to put it up on the screen so we can all see it together.
Okay.
And so you can see it, and we're going to do it simultaneously here on 3, 2, 1. I'm at home in the heart of God. My life is anchored in truth. I can never be separate. I live in the consciousness of peace. I release all fear. I am living love.
hello again. It's my pleasure to be with you this Sunday morning. And from my home to yours, I'm saying yes to love.
I hate to walk in front of you, but I don't want to fall behind. But it's nice to stand beside you on this firing line with a cigarette in my mouth and a blown blindfold over my eyes. It's nice to stand beside you in front of this firing line. Yeah. Sure.
Namaste.